Welcome to Chapter 2, CSS Inline Styling, Part 2. Chapter 2, Essential Outcomes. Students communicate, collaborate, create, and apply critical thinking skills through project-based learning by A. Constructing, computing, and designing basic web pages. B. Empowering and challenging each other to create unique designs. C. Demonstrating knowledgeable web page structure. D. Being responsible web designers and digital citizens. E. Sharing the innovative designs via global networking. F. Linking keywords to project application. Welcome to CSS Styling. With the introduction of HTML5, all aesthetic styling features now use CSS, so we no longer use HTML to actually style our web pages. There are three different types of CSS styling. Inline style sheets. These are inserted right inside the HTML tag. We have internal style sheets. These are placed between the opening and closing head tag and within the style tag that falls between the opening head and closing head tag. And then we have external style sheets, which largely creates a text file that houses all of our CSS coding and can be imported into a document by linking. The hierarchy of applying CSS styling. When a browser reads code, it goes down the page reading each line of text line by line and responds accordingly. You do not see this happen because it is done so fast. When dealing with CSS styling, the browser will first apply the external text file. Then it will apply the internal style sheets. And last, it will apply the inline style sheets. So when it comes down to it, if you have special coding in the inline style sheets, it will override the internal and the external. Font size. There are three different ways you can change font size. You can use pixels. 100 pixels are equal to roughly 1.041 inches, which itself is equal to roughly 2.65 centimeters. You can use EM, and EM is equivalent to the width of a letter M. EMs allow you to change the size of the text relative to the size of the text in the parent element. 1 EM is equivalent to the standard 12-point use in Microsoft. This is the highly recommended font size because EMs will adjust to the window of your screen. So if you're using a phone or a tablet or a PC, the font size will adjust accordingly to the size of the screen. You can also use percents. Percentages change the font size based on percentages. This is not usually recommended for font size. Styling the font or text on the page. There are two different types of font families that can be used, the serif font and the sans serif font. The serif font has hooks at the end of each letter. They're usually used to show contrast or to highlight a small section on a page. If you notice to the right, you're going to see little hooks on the A. Sans serifs, on the other hand, do not have any hooks at all at the ends of the letters. Sans serif is usually used for the major type of font because it is easy to read. If you look at the difference between the two fonts, you're going to see that the sans serif, the bottom image, does not have any hooks. Rules for the font family. Text on the page uses sans serif. Why? Easier to read. Headings on a page use serif font. Why? Makes the heading stand out on the page, and it is a small amount of text. So if we look at this example, we are going to see that Hello World is serif. Our next heading is What is Lorem Ipsum? That is also serif because they are headings. If we look at the list and we look at the text on the page, we're going to see that they use sans serif. This follows the good rule of web design. Use of Google Fonts. Another option for fonts is the use of Google Fonts. These are online and available free of charge. The positive reason to use Google Fonts is because Google Fonts are stored in the cloud and they override the default settings on the computers. So if you have a special font that you're using for your website and that font is not on the computer that is opening up your website, it will revert to the default font setting on the computer, which may make your actual website look different and doesn't have the aesthetic features that you want. So if you're looking at a real specialized font, using Google Fonts is the best way to go because, again, it overrides the default settings on computers. To access Google Fonts, please go to https://fonts.google.com. Once it opens, you can scroll down and you can see and look for fonts that you might like to use on your website. Adding a small logo on the browser tab. If you look at tabs on the browsers, you will see that they usually include a logo. For example, if you look at the image below, we have a square blue for the WD Chapter. That's a Google Doc logo. The Edpuzzle has its own logo. Google Drive has the triangle logo. And then email, Google Email has the envelope logo. So we're going to learn how to put a little logo there on our websites. To add a logo, you're going to find the image and resize it to around 90 pixels, and then use the image tag, the single tag. The image below shows you the actual code that you would use for it. We're going to link this browser tab to an image. So we're going to start off with the link HTML tag, followed by an attribute called relay, REL, and we're going to create a relationship between that and the shortcut icon. And then href stands for hyperlink reference. So we're going to link using that href to the path, which would be the image, then followed by the file name. Chapter 2, Part 2, Quiz. It's now time to review for your keyword quiz. Please make sure you review this PowerPoint as well as any other videos that you were required to view. When you have finished reviewing, please go to Google Classroom and take your quiz. Remember, no one to the right or left of you should be reviewing or taking the quiz while you are doing that. When you have finished your quiz, please return to this PowerPoint. Chapter 2, Part 2, Class Activity. It's now time to work on your Part 2 class activity. Open up the PowerPoint for Chapter 2, Part 2 that is located on Google Classroom. Make sure you complete the activities as you watch the video. Congratulations, you have reached the end of this Part 2 PowerPoint. Please return back to the website to find what your next step is. And as always, thank you for watching and participating.